am your motivator. In today's Michelleology, happy, prosperous, great new year. This is the opportune time for greatness to come in your life. I pray that all is well. I pray that your mind is grateful for the day that you have been given as your present, your now. And so as we move forward this year, I want to declare and decree that this is the year for royalty and riches. And so when I say riches, everybody think about money. That's inclusive, but the riches of your spirituality is first and foremost. As you seek the kingdom, all the other things shall be added. So your royalty and your riches are coming as twins into your life. And so you have to embrace it. You have to be aware of it. You have to be mindful of it. You cannot just hear this one time and say, oh, royalty and riches is going to fall out for me. You got to put the work in. We talked last week about doing the work as the power worketh in you. So you have to manifest that power. You have to be awake. You have to be aware. You have to be enlightened. You have to know your authentic self, your true you, the greatest version of who you were created to be. And as you walk into that manifestation of that, then you will know your worth. Remember, once you know your worth, you never have to prove yourself. And once you know a thing, you never have to unknow it. So this is going to be the opportune time for us to walk in our true authenticity. We have got to love ourselves. We've got to put ourselves first, because if we're not healthy, if we're not wealthy, we're not going to be a benefit to other people. And so we have to be a benefit to ourselves first. We must return to our first love. That's loving yourself. As you begin to love yourself, you begin to love God. And that connection, that joining, that family, that bloodline becomes a powerful force. That's what I want to talk about today. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. As we have said that scripture so long, but we haven't really known that scripture. We haven't become intimate with that. That is a promise. That is a sealed promise that you are equipped to do anything that you put your mind to and that you put the work in, that you know, that you have entitled yourself to get. So we've been basing getting things on who we know, the education that we have, the degrees, the money that we have. All of those are outside forces, and they're really illusional in the spirit world. So what we have to do is go internally so that we can experience the eternal things of God, which is being able to do and accomplish all things. But you have to go through. That means you have to go through the inner being, because remember, we're moving from our head first, heart first, and then we're lining our head up with it. Because we're saying the heart first, because the heart has a brain, the heart has an ear. And so the small voice of God gives you your next step, your next instructions on where you're going. You won't see it physically. You may see it internally, your insight, but not with your eyesight. When we try to look with our eyesight, it brings up all kinds of illusions, and we lose focus as to where we're going, and we get confused. So that's why we have to stay connected to your insight, your intuition. Intuition is knowing things that you wouldn't normally know. So it's really knowing the unknown that you didn't know in the physical, but you know it in the spiritual. Have you ever talked to someone and you were giving them advice, or you was encouraging them, and things came out that you was like, how did I know that? That's when your intuition kicks in. That's when God begins to speak for you, and you just open your mouth and you allow him to flow, or you allow that spirit to flow, that energy to flow, that power, that anointing, that chi, whatever you call it, the prana, the anointed breath of God. It begins to flow from your intuition. And that's why we talk a lot about chakras and energy points, and having those aligned up and balanced so that you can operate in the spirit realm and out of this illusional flesh realm. And so we have been conditioned for so long. We're coming out of that 3-dimensional illusion, and we're moving into the 5-dimensional, not 5-dimension illusion, but 5-dimension of unconditional love and freedom. We have walked out of slavery. We have been delivered from slavery. And so when we came out with great substance, that means we came out with spiritual knowledge that we didn't have before that. But what you're going to have to do in 2021, or you'll still be looking and chasing for normal. There is no normal. you were just conditioned to think that there was. That what we were doing before was not normal. It is where we had been conditioned, tradition to walk in things that other people had titled as normal, and we just fell right in. If we didn't question it, this is going to be a year that you question some things about yourself, about your path, about your career, about your money, about your family. These are going to be question marks. Every time you ask yourself a question, your mind, your brain, not your mind, your brain and your mind are not the same. Your brain tries to find, not tries to find, looks for a solution. So what we're going to be doing in 2021, although we have a problem, we also are going to look more for the solution than we're going to repeat and keep saying the problem. And so that's going to cause stress to be released. We're releasing rest and comfort into this year because we were in a total uproar. And the only reason we were in an uproar last year, excuse me, last year is because it was the unknown. And we were used to doing things automatically. We were used to things being in a certain place. So when God began to shake things up, and everybody's saying it's the devil, but I believe that God began to shake things up so that we will wake up. Some of us will sleep. You know, some of you have to be shaken to be wakened. And so God began to shake things up, and so it awakened us. And so we're now, once was blind, but now we see, we're in the awakened state, and we're in the greatest opportunity, greatest place to begin to create in the imagination of God, which is unlimited. So I can do all things. All things leaves out no things. And so when we get that mentality and become very mindful of that, we begin to walk in other dimensions in our lives. We begin to experience some things that we didn't know we were capable of. We begin to walk in our spiritual power, in our spiritual energy, in the anointed power of the anointed one. Well, this is Michelle, and I'm your motivator. In today's Michelleology, I have given you a lot of nuggets and tools that you can meditate on. You must meditate day and night now. You go in this season, you're going to have to study to show yourself approved. I'm not just talking about the Bible. You're going to have to study everything that concerns you because we're moving into knowing, not guessing, not knowing. And so you're going to have to study those things so that you're awakened and you're aware of what's going on around you so that spiritually you can walk forward and go into a space and a place of royalty and riches and comfort and joy and peace and love. And as you begin to walk in that, you're going to be contagious. You know, you're going to be infectious and contagious. You're going to infect other people with unconditional love. You're going to be contagious. Other people will see how you're walking and how God is prospering you in your spiritual walk. And as they begin to see that, because all the cover has been taken off. So people are going to be able to see clearly, you know, the good, bad, and the ugly. And so as we walk through this present age, our calling to fulfill, we are walking in a place and a space of authenticity, of love, unconditional love, not just love, but unconditional love. The love that we were created with, that so love, but God so loved the world that he gave. And the world will begin to give. You know, we'll learn how to be receivers. And as we learn how to be receivers, we'll learn how to give. Remember, you're a seed, and everything that you encompass to be is inside of the seed. So don't worry if people throw dirt on you. Don't worry, because you're a seed. And you're always going to push through it. You're always going to rise above it. You're always going to be everything you need to be. Why? That's why God created a seed. He put everything in the package. And so if dirt was thrown on us, we still could grow. If we had tears, water, we still could grow. Those were all the aspects of growth. The tears, the dirt people throw on you, the things people said about you, those are not things that you need to be sensitive about. Those are things that you need to see in a different light, in a different perspective, because those are the things that cause you to grow. The very things that we don't like, the bitter things, the hard things, those are our growth areas. Well, this is Michelle, and I'm your motivator. In today's Michelleology, you can do all things. but you have to get yourself in a position of enlightenment. You are the light. So every dark place in your life, you can shine your light. That's one of the things you say. Well, remember, you've been created by the Creator to be creative. So start creating your creations today, right now, in this moment, and stop duplicating others. May the love, joy, peace, power, sound-mindedness be your soul food for today. And remember to subscribe so that you know when my next video is coming out. So you don't want to miss the video this year. I mean, you don't want to miss it. So subscribe and put a like, and we're going to move forward in some greatness. We've gone through the storm and the rain, and now we're coming out, the sun is shining. So we're going to walk in that. So I hope that you create your day and don't let your day create you. Have a blessed one.